Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming again. Today we'll talk about plagiarism. But plagiarism is one of the academic dishonesty. Plagiarism is one. It's really common now in our academic research in general, like all the world. Usually, the developed country, they have strict rule against it. In developing country, they have more flexibility. So we need to know what do we mean by plagiarism? We need to identify types of plagiarism. Also, we need to know how can we avoid it? Because the main goal for today's lecture is how can we avoid it as a researcher? So plagiarism, al-istilal, we call istilal in our Arabic term. How can we avoid it? How can we identify the plagiarism? Okay. So plagiarism, if we steal something, it's simply stealing idea, stealing words, sentences, without giving credit to the original source. If you give me an idea, if I read your article and I took the idea from your article, but when I wrote the sentence I didn't refer to your article, this is stealing. I need to give you credit. If we usually, in our slides, I did some plagiarism because I plagiarized the pictures from Google without giving Google and this is just for you for the class. But if I need to publish it, I need to write the source. I need to give the credit for the photographer, for the website, I cannot copy paste anything, even the pictures. I just put the picture without, this is plagiarism simply, but this is just for educational process. So try to avoid any copy and paste, any cut and paste. Because copy and paste, if you do copy and paste, you need to have quotation mark and you need to have reference at the end. And quotation mark, you cannot use more than 10% of your material with quotation mark. So keep in mind, copy paste, try to avoid copy and paste. How can we avoid copy and paste? We have two options. Either we paraphrase or summarize. I will talk about this at the end of this lecture. So definitions, the term plagium comes from the kidnapping a man, means stealing, kidnapping, okay? So plagiarism is someone using someone else's intellectual product, text, ideas, results, thereby implying that is their own. If I wrote a sentence, comes from your article without giving you without putting your name at the end or your reference at the end, this is plagiarism. If I took your idea without giving you credit, this is plagiarism. Anything, even, that's why, for example, if I publish this video without giving credit to Dr. Dia or Ahmed, this is inappropriate or unethical because they put an effort on this video, Ahmed and Dr. Dia, to upload it to YouTube. So you need to give credit to the people who created, who put an effort. That's why I try to say, this is my idea. I did this by myself. No one helped me. This is plagiarism. Simply is not related only to the text, even the ideas. So it's unethical, it's dishonesty. Why do you think, how do you think plagiarism will harm us as a scientific committee? Why plagiarism is bad, simply? Why? I know it's easy to do plagiarism, it's easy to copy paste. Why do you think plagiarism will harm the scientific community?
Steal someone else's efforts?
Steal someone else's efforts. For example, you spend 10 hours writing some manuscripts or article, and you put efforts and you look at the literatures and you read and put all the efforts in a couple pages, and in 2 minutes someone else will copy what you put 10 hours. Someone can copy your text in 2 minutes, and they say this is mine. Imagine, this is stealing. They will steal your efforts. Imagine if you did something. All the plagiarism have the same principle, because there will be no value from your efforts. You will not have incentive to do such efforts again. They say, I spent 10 hours in my efforts and somebody stole this in 2 minutes. I'm not going to put an effort. I will steal somebody else's idea. Nobody will do a novel work. Everyone going to steal the ideas from the others. There's no novelty. All of us will have this dishonesty. So I need to give you credit, because you will have the credit. At the end, you will be proud. They say, this is my work. It was published in this. But if I steal it and I publish my article, she will feel like offended. They say, okay, I spent all this time to work on this, and in 2 minutes or in a couple minutes or in one, you saw all my work. That's why it will harm our scientific community. So if you write something, you borrow some text from other people, and you didn't put citation at the end of the sentence, this is plagiarism. If you copy someone else's sentence and you put it in your article, you put the citation at the end, it is still plagiarism. What do you think? What should we do if we copy and paste? We should quotation mark. Okay, the quotation mark. You cannot copy and paste, only put the reference. You need to put quotation mark. Quotation mark says this is exactly as the original source, exactly, without any modifications. So we're always looking for quotation mark, means this is exactly. If we don't do this, it's plagiarism. Even you will say, I put the source. I say it's still plagiarism. So there are 3 types of plagiarism: direct, indirect, self-plagiarism. Direct plagiarism, just copy paste or bring the ideas from the direct. What do you mean by indirect form? Could someone give me an example? Some of our students or researchers in the developing countries, they will look at the sentence and they change some word in the sentence. They change the sometimes with often, they change the, and they will keep the original sentence. This is indirect, because you still have, you still plagiarize, but you change only some words from this. This is indirect. Or you steal the idea without referencing. Always try to put the original source. Self-plagiarism. If I wrote manuscript, I publish it in this journal last year, next year, if I need to write a new article, if I use the same sentences exactly from my previous manuscript, without citation, because citation means I will cite the original journal. I will give credit to the original journal. I need to give them credit. For example, I wrote 2 manuscripts about health literacy. One, I conducted the study in Iraq in 2015. I published it in Research in Social Administrative Pharmacy, which is a US journal. When I conducted another health literacy study in Saudi Arabia in 2017, We published it in one of the Spanish journal in 2018. I refer to my original article. I put my citation. We call it self-citation. At least I need to say, I didn't copy and paste my material. I paraphrased the sentences. I didn't use the same sentences. I paraphrased those sentences. I summarized those. I didn't copy and paste it. It's my article, but I don't have the right to copy and paste the material because now the right transfer to the journal. If I need to use the figure, the table, it's mine, but I need to take permission from the original journal. So self-plagiarism, use your own material without citation. In the University of Iowa, they have the film policy against plagiarism. They need to prevent plagiarism, so they have strict rule to prevent and to punish people who plagiarize. For the first offense, for the first time, they will ask the plagiarized person or student to complete online course between 18 to 20 hours and pay penalty $100. And the misconduct will stay in the record internally within the university for 5 years. Imagine, for the first time. For the second time offense, they will be suspended from the college. يعني بين قوسين يفصلوه semester مثلا. Third offense, they will be expelled from the university and they will stamp this student was plagiarized, academic dishonest. There will be no university will accept this student again. Imagine, first time they will give you online course, some penalty, internal comments. The second time will be suspended for 1 semester or 1 year. The third one will be expelled. So it's very harsh punishment. That's why the students will know it's a red flag. You cannot play with this situation. This is the severe punishment because it's severe academic misconduct. So the consequences of plagiarism, as I mentioned, other than it will harm scientific community, if you plagiarize, your degree will maybe withdraw. Because I heard some cases that some PhD students, they plagiarized their thesis in the United States, and after years of their graduation, they took out their degrees after they discovered it was plagiarized. They have the right to take the degree back, imagine. So it's, and will help, also will ruin the academic reputation. The newspaper will talk about you فضيحتك بجلالي اللي ينقسم بالمصري. يعني هناك تنشهر يعني خاصة بعد ما حد يشغلك. Copyright laws, you may get sued by the person you plagiarized from, or the author, or the journal. All these severe punishment in the developed country try to minimize or prevent plagiarism. They may put you in prison. You have to pay charge if you do this. So how to avoid unintentional plagiarism? I can say plagiarism either intentional or unintentional. What do you mean by intentional? متعمد. Intentional mean I know the plagiarism and intentionally I do the plagiarism. But unintentional, which is the most common one, I don't know the rules, the regulations, I just took some words from the sentence because I don't know this is indirect plagiarism. But if I know, it's intentional. How can we avoid unintentional? This lecture, one of them, one of the way to prevent you or to protect you from unintentional plagiarism. You need to know, you need to learn about plagiarism, you need to learn how to avoid plagiarism. That's why in the University of Baghdad College of Pharmacy, we included this topic in our workshop, in our courses. Last semester we had research methodology course. Dr. Moffaq also gave lecture about it. We had a workshop at the University of Baghdad College of Pharmacy about plagiarism. Dr. Antadar also gave lecture about it. We try to increase awareness because students, the new students, you had no idea before this lecture. That's right, about plagiarism. After this lecture, after you get out of this door, you will know plagiarism, the role of plagiarism, types of plagiarism, how can we avoid plagiarism. So this is an increased awareness, it's our goal as instructors here in the university. So accidental, we need to use three types of strategies to prevent plagiarism in the writing. I'm talking about the writing because we mainly focus on the writing. First, quotation. Quotation means if you copy paste, you need to put quotation mark and the reference at the end. This is simple. No, we don't have so many rules. Just put the quotation, put the reference. Summarizing. What do you mean by summarizing? Could you give me an idea?
Put the sentence in a few words.
Exactly. We try to reduce the, for example, if you read an article about health literacy, you need to summarize, for example, if you are doing a health literacy project or paper, and you read Al-Jumaili et al. About health literacy in 2015, you may summarize my whole article in couple sentences. You say, Al-Jumaili and colleagues did health literacy studies about, in Iraq among pharmacy customers, and they found 70% of the participants, they have good health literacy among them. That's it. You summarize all my articles in 1 or 2 sentences. Imagine this is the summarizing. James et al. In the United States, they studied health literacy among 700 African Americans, and they found low health literacy among them. For example, this is the percentage. That's it. This is the whole article. Imagine. Because you don't have time to write all the details, you may summarize the whole article in a couple sentences or in one. This is summarizing. The other one is paraphrasing, which is more difficult. Understand the article and summarize it. That's it. But in paraphrasing, I think it's harder. Sentences, you will read a couple sentences, for example. You will go to the abstract and read, for example, you need to read the sentences. Read the sentence, understand the sentence, and restructure the sentence. Okay? For example, if you want to say, if I said Iraqi participant had low health literacy according to NVS test, you will change the structure. You will say in Iraq, a previous study found NVS, according to NVS, participant had low health literacy. Change the structure. You cannot use the same structure, the same subject, the same verb. You need to change the whole structure. Try to play with the structure. Use synonym for the verb. Try to, because I will give you more example. It's theoretical, but I will give you more example. I don't want to be. So simply, there is one more tip about citation. If in my health literacy study, for example, if I say an Iranian study found blah blah blah, like low health literacy, for example, and you need to write about the Iranian study in my, because I mentioned the Iranian study, for example. And Akram wants to write about the Iranian study, but you didn't go through the original article. It's not good science. The good science says, if you want to cite someone, you need to go to the original article. You need to go to the references and pull up the whole article, Iranian study, and read it carefully, and then write about it and cite it. Don't trust my words in my article, because I may plagiarize it, I may put something, because I remember one of articles say 98,000 killed annually in the United States due to medication-induced harm. One article say. My advisor say, I didn't find this information in someone else. I pull up all the references. I didn't find the original article, didn't mention this number. So don't trust what the article you read about it. You need to go back to the references at the end, pull up the full paper and read it again and make sure this information is correct or accurate. I may paraphrase it or summarize it, but in bad way, in low quality. I may put something like, if the cells, they have 30% cells participant, I may say good percent of cells, but the original article is only 30%. Good is not reflected word. So for your safety, go back to the original article. Paraphrasing, summarizing, we need to use those two to avoid plagiarism. That's why I asked you about the English course. You need to take advantage from English course. You need to improve your writing skills, your reading skills. Because if you improve your reading skills, your writing skills, you can avoid plagiarism. But if you have limited skills in writing, you may go to plagiarism unintentional by taking the words, which is the bad science. So for your own safety, try to paraphrase and summarize other people's words. Don't copy and paste. Don't take out small words and keep this whole sentence the same. I'll give you some couple of examples. So paraphrasing, the rule of paraphrasing include putting important supporting points of the passage. Keep in mind, we always need to keep the original ideas. In paraphrasing and summarizing, you cannot change the content. You can, the results. You cannot change it from good to bad, from high to low. You know? Just, you have a lecture about it after this one?
No.
I will try to finish this quickly. Paraphrase must cite the original. Always we need citation. Always we need citation. Always at the end of each sentence. Paraphrase material usually the same or shorter than original passage. Paraphrasing usually shorter. Our paraphrase text should give an important point of the original passage. Focus on the original, on the main point. Don't spend your time on the. For example, if I say I conducted a study between March and May 2015, you don't care about March and May, you just say in 2015, and Jumaili et al. Our colleagues did such study. You don't care about March and May. Don't care about minor details in the study. Using the right synonym to the word. If you use synonym, put in the Google synonyms for the word. قواميس, synonym, thesaurus, dictionaries will benefit from them. Try to change the original sentence structure. This is the most important point. Don't use the same verb, the same subject. Mashi? You need to change the idea. So according to Purdue University writing, you need to reread and understand the original text. يعني هي الفكرة وين؟ We need to understand the sentence first before you paraphrase it. Without understanding the sentence, you cannot paraphrase it because you will paraphrase it in the wrong way. You need to understand the meaning. The meaning exactly. At the top of the notes, and put notes. Try to put notes in the sentence. And put your notes, put the first author and the last author, always, even in your draft. Put the first author last name. For example, Al-Jumayli, which is my last name, 2015. You will be safe, because if you rewrite the draft, you will always know this sentence comes from this original article. Don't put sentence, you will say, I will put the reference later. Don't do this, you will forget. Always put the last name of the first author with the year, so you will know this sentence comes from this. Set the original article side, compare your paraphrase text with the original. After you write your paraphrase, compare the meaning. It has to have the same meaning. The same meaning. Finally, if we have exactly the same word, or couple, sometimes we cannot change the words. It's the word they developed. So we will use the word with quotation mark. Do you have a question so far? Let's take example. One example says, students frequently overuse direct quotation in taking notes, and as a result, they overuse quotation. So this is the first sentence. The students frequently overuse direct quotation. Look to the bad or plagiarized version. Students, the same, often frequently use too many direct quotation. When they take notes, resulting in too many of them, resulting overuse. This one is, they consider it plagiarized. Even they change some words, but the underlying words, they are the same ones. This one considered plagiarized because they kept the same structure of the sentence, the same subject, the same verb, use, direct quotation. This one is plagiarized, unfortunately. If we need to have good paraphrasing, look to this one. In the research paper, students often quote excessively. Look, they changed the structure. They didn't start with student. They didn't start with subject, the same subject. They start with phrase. In the research paper, student often quotes excessively, failing to keep quotes. Quoted material down to the desired level. Look, we changed the word, we changed the structure, but we kept the meaning. We still have the same meaning. The same meaning means student, they overuse the quotations. That the same meaning, but different structure. This is good example. If we need to summarize the whole 3 sentences, look to the summarize. We need to summarize 3 sentences in 1 sentence. Students should take just a few notes in direct quotation from sources to help minimize amount of quoted material in the research paper. The reference, we always have the reference. Reference here, reference here. We must have reference. This one doesn't have reference. It's not a good one, plagiarized. Must reference here. Do you have any question about paraphrasing? Read the sentence, change the structure, use synonym, give the same meaning. Don't change the meaning. Change the structure, change the synonym. Don't keep the same structure, because if you're keeping the same structure as this one, there are so many software about plagiarism now. Grammarly, other ones. They will put your material in the software, and they will run the software, and they will know exactly the percentage of plagiarism. So they will know. It's not hard work anymore. Anyone can know if you plagiarize. So try to avoid this type of paraphrasing. Try to change the structure to avoid this. This is the one of the software of plagiarism. Plagiarism checker X original report. Look, those highlighted, those are plagiarized from other people, resources, without good paraphrasing. Summarizing. The second strategy to avoid plagiarism. Go ahead.
Plagiarism software, anyone can access to it?
Sure,
Maybe
but it's not free. You have to
I
pay.
checked my article before publishing it, so to check if it is okay or
It's
not.
okay, but you have to pay. Most of them, they are not free. So you can subscribe in any one of those, but you have to pay monthly fees. It depends. Sometimes students, it's illegal outside, but in Iraq, they usually share one account more than one student, so they share the fee. But in the United States, they usually, the university will pay for it. The good university, they pay for the journals, you will have access to all journals. But here, we have self-supported, self-funded. Summarizing, I think it's easier. For me, it's easier than the paraphrasing because I read the whole abstracts and I can summarize it in a couple sentences. I read carefully, I understand the meaning, then I wrote my own words. I just summarize as I mentioned. Like for example, Talal and colleagues, they conducted a study about health literacy in Saudi Arabia, and they found according to Astafla, participants had 70% good health literacy. That's it. I summarized all the article. You can write your own words. This is the summarizing. That's it. A couple sentences, one sentence is enough, especially in your discussion. When you need to use external source, we usually need external sources in introduction and in the discussions. Introduction to good background. In the discussion, we need to compare our results with the previous studies in other countries or other research. So we usually, when I look to the discussion, I ask my student to put outside sources and compare their results with it. Summarize and include putting the main ideas again in your own words. We also must cite the original. We always must cite the original. We always must put the reference at the end. Summarize are significantly shorter, should be shorter. We need to read the entire text and summarize in our own words. Summarizing include condensing the source material into just a few lines, few sentences. We should not include our interpretation. For example, don't say, if you need to summarize someone's words, if I need to summarize an Iranian study, I cannot put my interpretation within the same sentence. If I need to summarize, for example, in Iran, in 2015, an Iranian study found 70% of pharmacy customers had low health literacy. That's it. Then I put the reference at the end. Then the next sentence, I can say, according to this result, the participant may have low health literacy because they have low education. I put my interpretation later. I cannot put my interpretation within the same original sentence and because if I put citation, I mean the meaning of this sentence comes from the original source. My interpretation should have my own idea without citing. I cannot put citation, the original citation, after my interpretation. For example, when I say this health literacy may be because they don't have enough school or they don't have enough fund. This is my interpretation. I cannot cite their article. It's my interpretation. So don't put your interpretation within the same original article ideas, okay? Original article ideas should give the same meaning, okay? You have a question about this one? we should not include our quotation. We need to make clear distinction between our thoughts and other findings. So this is for findings with reference. This is our interpretation. Every sentence without citation means it's your own sentence. You wrote this. Everyone with reference means you borrowed the idea or the sentence from someone else. Without reference means it's not yours. Sorry, with reference it's not yours. Without reference it's ours. Okay? Summary. The good example here about the whole idea, you can read on your own. Plagiarism doesn't only happen in student essay in March 2013, National Science Foundation. So if you can see here, the good example, we changed the structure. We started with the author. Why we put the quotation mark here? It's exactly the same words. Those, plagiarism, the best defense is good offense.
It's the target.
And exactly, this is the title. So we try, look, this is the reference. So it's much shorter than the original one and gives the same meaning. This is the bad one. The bad one, why? Because it has the same structure. Can you see plagiarism is not solely, plagiarism doesn't only happen based on, they change the base, happen to based on, we only look, has the same sequence, the same structure. So it's not good summarizing because we use the same structure. We use the same sequence. Try to use your own words. I'm not sure if you have enough time, but if you need to summarize this for me at home and bring it to the class next week or to me in the office, summarize this in couple sentences to see your skills in summarizing. Also, if you can summarize the article, my abstract here in health literacy in couple sentences, try to summarize it. Also summarize this one. This is the homework for you guys. So we have more than one type of academic dishonesty. One, well, the most common one is plagiarism. The other ones, data fabrications. What do you mean by data fabrication? And it is significant. I am not significant. I know there was a randomized control trial in our department at the University of Iowa. They spent 3 years, this example about the honesty, 3 years of randomized control trials at different states. And they got millions of grants. And eventually they had non-significant results. Imagine. You don't have to have significant results. Negative results is result. You don't have to change your, you must not change your results. No one's asked you to make it significant. If it's not significant, keep it non-significant. So we must not change our data or results. Duplicate publication and give authorship. What do you mean by give authorship?
Author was not involved in this.
Was not involved. We have two types of academic dishonesty. Gift authorship, making someone an author when they don't deserve it, friends, colleagues. For example, if you say we are friends, when he writes a manuscript, he will put my name. When I write my manuscript, I put your name. This is academic dishonesty. Because if you don't have enough contribution, you cannot be an author. And some journals, they ask you to put your contribution. Did you write a paper? Did you do analysis? Did you collect data? Exactly. What's each researcher did. Ghost authorship, if someone helped you and you didn't put it, you need at least to mention it in the acknowledgement. Someone helped you, Either you put it as co-author, and if it's small contribution, not enough to be co-author, put it in the acknowledgement. At least, if someone did the analysis for you, help you to do data collections, put it in the acknowledgement. At least, yeah. You need to give it credit. Dishonesty will harm the scientific committee. Will harm the scientific committee. Funding research, we need always to disclose our conflict of interest. If we receive money, we need to say, I received money from this company.